What's up? This is Illuminati 242, and today we are going to be doing Capture the Flag Challenge. This is called Kioptrix, and this is the first version. You can find this on vulnhub if you would like to download it and set it up in a virtual environment and follow along. So I've already have mine set up. As you can see, one of the first things I did on this host-only network was to do an ifconfig to find out what is my own IP address on the subnet. So I am .35 on the 192.168.168.0/24 network. Okay, the second thing that I did so far, I ran the simple nmap script just to get I ran the nmap script just to discover any additional hosts on this network so I can get the IP address of the target. I did this by using nmap and the -sn tag, basically telling nmap not to do any probing of the ports on the subnet, and that basically generated a quick scan for us and gave us the IP address of our target. I saved the IP address in a file. I did it as an XML and I converted it to HTML just using the following command right here. Converts it to HTML, and we can take a look at it, the output, by doing this. So earlier we already saw that one was the 135 IP address, so the target has to be 134. And with that information, we will continue our information gathering by doing a second nmap scan on the target, a more condensed nmap scan. And this particular scan that I've highlighted, two things that in particular that I like to do is to run the default scripts for the nmap scripting engine and also the vulnerability script for the nmap scripting engine on my target. I already did this in advance because this is a long process, so I wouldn't have to bore you guys to death. So the results for this particular scan I also saved in a file, XML format, and then converted that to HTML. So in viewing that, gives you a nice report, human readable report. So now the next step that I'm going to do is to pause the video and go through the report in depth, taking a look at all the ports that are open and all the services associated to the ports, and to take a look and see what all vulnerabilities in the nmap scripting engine has pointed out and highlighted for us to give us some definite windows of opportunity against the target. For example, you can see two right off the bat. SSL injection, it says that it's vulnerable, and another one that it's vulnerable. So you'll have to go through these. It gives you the CVE file so you can do some additional research and to see if you can find anything in metasploit, or basically find out how you can manipulate these vulnerabilities to gain access to the target. So with that being said, and so far I can see there's a few vulnerabilities that particularly look very interesting to try. So I'm going to pause the video and make a nice condensed list of these vulnerabilities and what I am going to try. And then we will try them one by one, and I will show you guys as I go along what are my findings. So I'll be right back in a few. I will take a look at this report and we will continue our information gathering on the Kioptrix CTF machine. Stay tuned. Okay, so the last time we left off, we just completed our nmap scan and we converted it to HTML. So after perusing the document a little bit here, we can see a few ports and services open. We have SSH on 22, HTTP on port 80, 111, PC bind. We have SMB on 139 and HTTPS 443, and this on 1024. So naturally it's hard to resist opening the browser and just browsing to port 80, which in my case is 192.168.168.134. And I'm getting nothing. Oh, wait. I think settings. Let me try a different browser. Okay, so in Firefox, let me check to see if my proxy settings are off. Preferences, advanced, network, settings, mail proxy. And we get the test page from the server. This is what is displayed on port 80. Naturally, you would want to check the page source to see if there's anything really interesting going on. Don't really see anything right away. Okay, let's try the HTTPS. Nine two 168.134, and advanced, add exception, confirm, and we get the same thing. Again, nothing really of interesting stuff here. Just check the page sources just to be sure. So far we have 2 default pages on the Apache web server. That being said, we can now move on, close the browser, and open up a terminal. And start investigating SMB. So we need to find out what version of SMB that is running. So let's use starting the services PostgreSQL before starting the MSF console. Now we need to search for metasploit for SMB. So we can say, let me just make sure I'm in the right workspace. We get a bunch of options. Let me narrow it down for exploits. And these are the exploits listed for SMB. Earlier from our scan, our nmap scan, we can see that this guy is an Apache Linux server. OS match, it's Linux 100%. So that kind of narrows down what we're looking for. So right. Samba. And there we go. That's a better set of search results. So now we've cut it down to 4 options. And we see this one says that it's Samba tries to open overflow. So we type use. Let's copy this, paste it, info. There's some information about the exploit. The ranking is great and uses port 139, which is good for us. This exploits the buffer overflow found in Samba version 2.2 to 2.8. x86 Linux systems, yes, yes, yes. And what we're going to do now is set, let me say, show the options first, and our options is to remote host, set our host to 68.134. I'm gonna set payload. I'm gonna try using Linux x86 interpreter device TCP. Show options. Now port. You don't really have to change that, but I just like getting myself into the habit of changing the default port that it uses. And I'm going to set the L host, which is my address. I think, let me just check. I am 135. Everything is set. So now let's execute by just typing exploit. And that's a job. And trying. Yeah, it's doing something. Doesn't seem to be taking the interpreter reverse TCP. Maybe let's try this again. This time I'll change the payload and try and use a generic TCP shell instead. Let's see what happens this time. And we have a shell session open. Okay. Session 1. -I to interact 1. And just like that, looks like we have root access. I have no idea where this flag can be. Hmm. And there we go. There's something in there after all. If you're reading this, you got broke. Congratulations. Level 2 won't be as easy. Huh. Okay, so there you have it. This has been an Illuminati 242 production. Stay tuned for another Capture the Flag challenge. I will continue with the Kioptrix series. I think there's 4 of them, so I will just move on to the next one. So until next time, keep on hacking until the cows come home, as Movies would say. Stay tuned.